Alright, today we're going to talk a little bit about leading horses around. So we have Cheyenne here. She's a nice old girl to kind of use as our demonstration horse. Walking horses is a little bit different compared to most of the rest of our livestock. So with cattle, sheep, goats, we're going to try to keep their head up as high as we can. We're going to hang on to the halter as tight to the left-hand side of their face because we always stand on the left side, so we use our right hand to lead them, regardless of if we're right or left-handed. And we hold on as close to their face as we can. Horses, we don't do that as much because they are an animal that we spend a lot more time training, and therefore they should respect us and we should respect them a little bit more. We give them a little bit more free liberty to move around a little bit. So here this horse has been haltered. Cheyenne's been haltered. We've got her out here in the arena. And again, we're just going to talk a little bit about leading her around. So when I'm hanging onto the halter, in order to hang onto it properly, I need to use both hands. Now, obviously, in some cases where you see a lot of people with a lot of horse experience, they're just going to drop everything in one hand and walk that way. That's fine, but for somebody with not much experience or for a beginner, two hands is always best. Especially if you're in somewhere like this where there's lots of things going on at once, two hands is usually best. So, with our right hand, we're going to keep that closer to the horse's face. Usually we tell people to keep it just down from where the buckle and the metal pieces are at, just so you don't accidentally get your fingers and things, and to give the horse a little liberty to move its head around, okay? Your left hand, you're going to grab the remainder of the rope and keep it up off the ground. That way, I don't get my leg tangled in it. Old Cheyenne here doesn't step on it and get herself tangled or freak herself out. And so it just doesn't get dirty. Now, one thing that some people will make the mistake of doing is to keep this picked up, wrapping it around their hand like this. Now, with Cheyenne here, I don't need to really worry too much about things, but if I had a horse I wasn't as comfortable with, or even just in case, we never want to wrap the rope like this, because if something happens and Cheyenne here freaks out on me, there's no way I'm going to be fast enough, even with as quick of reflexes as my cat-like reflexes are. There's no way I'm going to be able to untie this from my hand or unravel it before she's got me drug halfway across the arena. If I don't end up kicking and screaming and dragging behind her, what's going to happen is this rope's going to get ripped through my hands and I'm going to get a nasty case of rope burn, which I have plenty of scars on my hands to show you, but you don't want to zoom in that close on my nasty hands. So we're not going to look at those. Anyway, we're going to keep the rope off the ground by kind of looping it like this and hanging on to the outside part of our loop. So if for some reason our horse freaks, I can drop the end and not have to worry about getting drug or getting it ripped through my hands. So that's kind of how we're going to hang on to the rope. When we're standing by the horse, we want to stand about across from its ear. So if we're way out here in front of the horse is kind of designed, or they've been trained to walk across from us. So if you see, when I moved up, so did Cheyenne. Her goal is to stay kind of right across where she can read my body language and she can see what's going on. Plus, if the horse is lagging behind me, I can't see if she's about to take a bite out of my ponytail or maybe a nip out of the back of my shoulder, which old Cheyenne isn't going to do because she's a nice girl. So we keep her about from her shoulder. If I'm standing way back here, this is great, but not really, because who's in the lead? Me or the horse? Cheyenne, and in this case, she's going to do what she wants. Anytime we're leading animals around, we need to be the boss, which sometimes means we need to make sure we're taking control. If we're not the boss, we put ourselves at potential risk to get hurt. So we're going to stand right across from their ears is the best place to stand. I've got a good hold on my rope. Now, when I want this thing to go, actually I'll back up. We always want to stand on the animal's left side, so our right hand is closest to it. Now, sometimes in a show, if we're showing halter, we may end up rotating back and forth, but we're never actually going to lead from this side. And that was a horrible example of halter. So if you're a halter person, I'm sorry. Don't look at this. But anyway, we're always going to keep track of our rope so we don't ever trip over it. So I've got my horse and I'm kind of ready to go. Might want to back up a little bit here. So when I decide it's time to go, I'm simply going to start walking. The horse should read my body language and start following me. So if I start walking, you'll notice Cheyenne's basically following. If I stop, I'm going to slow myself down and stop, and she should read my body language and stop with me. Okay? If I go to go and she's not following, I might need to click a little bit or give her a little extra pull. When I go to stop, if she's not stopping, I'm going to pull back a little bit on the halter. Or if she's really not stopping, I might give it a little snap to remind her, hey, you need to listen. Now, if you've watched a lot of old westerns and things like that, if you sit here, whoa, and you don't physically move your body, that's not going to help you at all, okay? So slow yourself down. Saying whoa may be helpful, but most horses should be trained to just read off of your body language and slow themselves down on command, okay? When you go to turn, okay, if you're gonna turn to the left, all you need to do is start turning your body, and the horse should kind of follow. If not, you give it a good pull. I'm gonna turn it in a circle, or a small circle. If I would like to turn to the right, horses should, again, read our body language and give us a comfortable distance if the horse has been well trained. If I want to start turning to the right, I should just have to turn my body towards the right, and you'll notice Cheyenne stays a nice distance away from me. And I actually don't even have to use my hand to turn her around because she stays right where she needs to. Now, if she's not listening and she's not doing that, all I have to do is straighten my arm, give her the old stiff arm to keep her a comfortable distance away from me. When we're walking then, we just keep a nice even pace. The faster you move, the faster the horse will move. So if you get it to the point you want them to actually start jogging or trotting, depending on if you're English or Western, you're going to physically move your body faster to get them to do that. And you might have to give a little click as you're going. For a beginner, first step is just getting them comfortably walked and getting them comfortably stopped. So that's a little bit of basics. Oh, before I forget, you always need to pay attention to where you're going. Make sure people around you are paying attention to where they're going to. You're in charge, you're the driver. Don't run any red lights. Use your blinker when necessary. Don't crash.